Good morning, children. Please take out your books and copies first. So let us start with the first lesson as I gave introduction in my last class. Last class, I think all of you must have seen my video. Otherwise, I will send it again. So we started in the first chapter, the first part, that what is power sharing. In that we discussed what is power sharing, what are the different reasons for power sharing. In that we discussed moral reasons and potential reasons. We also discussed about the story of Belgium and Sri Lanka, that how power sharing was done in Belgium and how power sharing was not practiced in Sri Lanka. Today we'll just continue this lesson with the second part of the lesson, and in this we will discuss about forms of power sharing. So in the different forms of power sharing, the first form of power sharing is horizontal power sharing. Children, all of you must have studied in your previous classes, in class 9th, in class 8th also, different organs of government. Different organs of government, in that you studied about what are the different organs. The different organs are executive, legislature and judiciary. So in this horizontal power sharing, when power is shared between these three organs, that is executive, legislature and judiciary, it is known as horizontal power sharing. As the power is shared at the same level and all the three organs, that is legislature, executive and judiciary, they have equal powers, and that is why it is known as horizontal power sharing. Now children, all of you must be knowing what is legislature. Legislature is the organ of the government which make laws, and executive, it executes it, and judiciary, it sees whether the laws are being followed or not. So in horizontal power sharing, the power is equally divided between the three organs, that is legislature, executive and judiciary. Executive, legislature and judiciary, all these three organs, they check the power of each other. They see whether these organs don't misutilize the power, and they keep a sight, they supervise each other. I'll explain you with the help of example. Suppose in our country, legislature makes laws. The judiciary sees whether these laws are being implemented properly or not. Then the executive executes the law and judiciary checks. That means all these three organs check each other. Legislature checks judiciary, judiciary checks legislature, and that is why this system is known as check and balance system. As these three organs are checking each other, it is seen that balance of power is maintained in the country. Nobody puts unnecessary pressure, and it leads to power sharing. And as it leads to power sharing, as the power are shared equally, it is known as horizontal division of power. So this is the first form of power sharing. The second form that we are going to discuss is vertical power sharing. Now children, what is vertical power sharing? Vertical power sharing is that type of power sharing in which power is shared between the three levels of government. All of you know very well, children, you have studied in your junior classes that in India especially we have federal system. In federal system, the power is distributed between central government and state government. So in this vertical power sharing, the power is shared between central government, state government, and in India we have the third level of government, and the name of that government is local self-government. So when power is shared between the three levels, at the three levels, it is known as vertical power sharing. So we have discussed the two forms of power sharing. First is horizontal power sharing and second is vertical power sharing. The basic difference between the horizontal power sharing and vertical power sharing is, in horizontal power sharing, all the three organs, that is legislature, judiciary and executive, they have same power, they have equal powers. But in vertical power sharing. In our country, you know very well, central government is more powerful than state government. Always central government has more powers. You know many a times that at the time of emergency, the power of the state government are dissolved and president rule is implemented. And in president rule, central government takes all the decision and assists the president. So we can say that the second form of power sharing is vertical power sharing. So children, we have discussed the two types of power sharing, horizontal power sharing and vertical power sharing. Now we'll start with the third form of power sharing, that is when power sharing is done with different social groups. Different social groups means people belonging to different caste, different creed and different communities. I have taught you in the starting part of the lesson about Belgium. In Belgium, people speaking different languages were living, that is Dutch speaking and French speaking, and powers were shared by them. In the same way, in our country, powers are given to people belonging to different caste and community. Children, you already know very well that reservations are being implemented in our country. Why reservations are being given? Reservations are being implemented so that the people, those who feel themselves unprivileged, those who have been treated very badly in the past, even they can get equal importance. So we have discussed the different forms of power sharing, that is horizontal, vertical, and the third is power sharing which is done by different social groups. Now we'll conclude the lesson with the third type of power sharing and the fourth type of power sharing. The fourth type of power sharing is power sharing which is done by political parties and pressure groups. So children, all of you know very well that in our country, especially in democracy, you know that political parties come to power by contesting elections, and through elections they get power, they contest election, they hold position, and like this they represent the common people. And all of you know very well, you have studied in class 9th that democracy is a form of government in which rulers are elected by common people, and these rulers, they belong to political parties. And in our country, we don't have a single political party, we have different political parties. And sometimes you see that coalition government is also there in our country. And this coalition government combinedly they rule the country. So we can say that these political parties also share power, and by sharing power they rule the country and they make policy and programs for a country. And along with political parties, even pressure group in our country, they share power. Now children, all of you, you must not be knowing about what is pressure group, because this term is new to you. Pressure group is not a political party. The people, those who lead pressure group, they don't participate in election. They don't contest in election. They are a bridge between the common people and the ruling party in our country. You know very well, you would have heard the name of different social reformers at present, different social activists like this. These social activists, they represent the people, they lead the people and put forward the demands of the people to the common people, to the political leaders. For example, Medha Patkar is the best example, who led the social movement, and they put forward the demands of the common people to the government so that the government can pressurize and take the decisions in favor of the people. And as this pressure group, they put a pressure on the political parties, they are known as pressure groups. And this thing should be very clear to you that these pressure groups, they never participate in election. They just represent the common people and put forward the demand to the political parties. So the last part is power is also shared by pressure group in our country. And lastly, we'll conclude that different types of power sharing we have read. The first type is horizontal power sharing. Second is vertical power sharing. Third is when power sharing is done by different social groups. And the last is power sharing which is done by different political parties and pressure groups. So this is the conclusion of the lesson. In our next class, we'll discuss about, once again we will revise whatever we have studied. We will recapitulate about Sri Lanka, Belgium, and we will discuss all the question answers. Thank you.